I made a huge mistake at YCS Hartford. What's up, guys? We're back with another live video, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience at YCS Hartford, which is the second YCS that I've ever attended. The first one was Charlotte just a month ago, and I made a few mistakes. I said a huge mistake. One I think is the hugest, the most huge, and there's many others. So let's get into it. So before we get into my huge mistake, I want to talk about what my preparation or what I was thinking about for the YCS. So originally, I was planning on not going to YCS Hartford. I was going to skip it. I was going to go Charlotte, then I was going to wait till Niagara to go to another one in terms of like actually playing. But my friend Thug Noodles on Instagram, aka Kanye West 3 something something something, he's got a bunch of numbers, okay? I don't know what it is. He lives up there, and he was like, hey man, you gotta come to the YCS so we can hang out and like go together or whatever. So I was like, all right, whatever, yeah, sure, I'll go. So it didn't take a lot of convincing. I decided I actually did want to go because I had a great time at Charlotte. And I was like, you know what, this time after Charlotte, I didn't prepare very much at all. Let's go hard. Let's do some grinding. Let's figure out a new deck. Let's be prepared for this thing. And when it comes to playing in a big tournament like that, being prepared means knowing the other opponent's decks, what their combos are, where the choke points are, where you need to stop them. Like, where should I Ash Blossom? Because there's multiple times that I can Ash Blossom a lot of these decks because they're searching their deck a lot of times. Maybe like, what hand trap should I play? What deck should I play? Should I go first or should I go second? There's a lot of different things you should know. Not just your deck, but the other deck, what they want to do, when they want to do it. It's very important to winning in a tournament like this. That's where we get into my mistakes. My first mistake was I told myself I was going to figure out all the, other decks. I was going to understand what was going on. I was going to understand the meta. I kind of decided not to really put in that much work figuring it out. I played a few matches with my friend VOP, gave me some advice, but it wasn't a ton of grinding like other matchups. I didn't like play a lot of the decks. I played against them like maybe one match total, so I didn't really know exactly how to play against those, to be honest. So then it comes to my deck decision. I had Alistair. I realized when I was playing my Alistair deck against Branded or the fusion stuff and like Super Poly, like people are just fusioning off my Mechaba. I set up Mechaba and they just fusion it off and I have no response. This deck's not going to work. I don't think I can play this deck. I'm going to switch decks. Let's see what else I have. The only 3 decks that I had remaining that actually were playable at the time without me having to buy more cards were Dark Magician. Okay, we're not playing that. Blue Eyes. It'd be cool. It'd be funny, but we're not playing that. And Dinos. There's 3 decks. I just told you I wasn't playing the other one. So Dino. That's what I landed on. The reason I stuck with Dino is I knew the deck pretty well from Master Duel. I played it a lot when we made it to like whatever the top rank was a couple months ago when I was playing it. The problem is the Dino deck is no longer that good. It was great in Master Duel, but it kind of has phased out because Master Duel is so far behind the regular TCG. But I decided, you know what? I have the deck. I'm going to play it. I'll figure it out. It'll make sense. My version was a going second version. This was the huge mistake that I think I made. The biggest mistake. This did not work well at all. And I realized it wasn't going to work, but it was only a few days before the event, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to figure this thing out. I'm not going to try and add different cards because I had already submitted the deck list on the actual website, and I was not about to do that again. And I decided I'm going with that deck, and I'm going to tell you guys what exactly the results were. So I get to the YCS, I was hanging out with my friend, and we got there the very first day. I sit down, I think it's like 10 o'clock Eastern is when it started. I sat down, my opponent wasn't there yet. Everyone else was sitting down, I actually brought a mat this time, by the way, guys. So I learned from last time, I brought a mat, pen, piece of paper. I had everything. I was ready to go. I looked like a professional duelist. I had my sleeves. I was shuffling up my deck. I was like, I'm ready to go. Dinos, baby. I'm about to Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler, no more of these people. Second turn, destroy them all. I'm sitting there, and this guy comes and sits down. He's like, oh yeah, I got to sleeve up my side deck real quick. And he said it in like kind of a goofy way, and I was like, maybe this guy's like not too serious about it. Maybe he's pretty chill, maybe he's just playing a goofy deck like I am. The match is about to start. They start laying out these slips. So when you're at a tournament, there's these long tables. So you're sitting across from your opponent. Next to you is 2 other people. They're sitting across from their opponent. There's just people everywhere. There's like 1,000 people in there. I think it was over 1,000 players in the tournament. The judges come by and lay these slips down, so you have to sign it like after you win or after you lose, and then they check off the winner, and like if there's any disputes, like the judges come by and like mark it and all this stuff. So they lay down their slip right before we're about to start, and I see my name. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. I'm in the right spot. You always want to make sure you're on the right table. Check out the other guy's name. And I realized that this was a familiar name to me. This is a name I had heard before. And it's not because he's like a YouTuber or something, because like if he's a YouTuber, I probably would recognize him or whatever. This was a guy that I'd heard about when it came to competitive play. A legendary Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist named Patrick Hoban. Now, he was legendary for being very good at Yu-Gi-Oh! For a long time. And when I saw this name, I was like, this is not a good start. This totally threw me off my game. I was planning on going second Dinos. I'm going to go second. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, if I let this guy go first, like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. We roll the dice. I win the dice roll. Like, I'm going first, baby. I'm going to set up. He's not going to be able to do anything. It's going to be insane. And I drew Nothing. I literally could not play a card. I had to pass with nothing on board. He literally beats me on the next turn. So I start pulling out a bunch of hand traps. I'm like, I gotta stop this guy. I throw a bunch of hand traps in my deck, maybe 6 or 9 of them or something like that, because I played 0 in my main deck, by the way, which was a horrible decision. Going second, I played 0 hand traps. I know, it was bad. It was a lot of mistakes for me. This time, I stuck with my strategy. I said, I'm going second because I got going second hand traps. I got going second cards. I'm ready to go. I draw my hand, no hand traps. He sets up his entire board. I have nothing that I can do on my turn. I'm sitting there. I don't know what his cards do. I've never seen Predaplant cards in my life besides Verte, which is now banned. So he's just, comboing off. He's asking, okay, effect, summon, activate effect, search. And I'm just going, yeah, that's totally fine. I'm just acting like I know what's going on. I have no idea what he's doing. Him just, like acting like I potentially have something to do. I have nothing to do. He sets up a complete board. I follow up. I think I actually did something like made him actually negate some stuff a few times. I may have actually destroyed a couple cards, but it wasn't enough. He easily 2-0s me. Clap, clap. First round, I've already lost. It was not even close. So I get it from the first round. I'm like, this was pretty rough. So let's go to second round. Maybe I'm now 0-1, right where I want to be. That means that I will get a matchup that I can actually win. Maybe somebody that's, not as good because we both lost. I run into the exact same deck. Fortunately for me, he actually bricked in the first round, so I actually drew an okay hand. I was able to Feather Duster his back row because he didn't even summon a monster. I then was only able to set up like 6,600 damage because I didn't have a great hand. He then follows up, was able to clean up my entire board and beat me literally the next turn. So unfortunately, he drew into something that he actually needed. Game 2, I also went second. It was actually pretty back and forth. I was able to clear off his entire board when I went, but then he was able to follow up and destroy me as well. So it actually went a few turns. He ended up beating me. I think I did like maybe 4,000 damage to him, but he ended up beating me in the second game. So we're now 0-2 in matches and 0-4 in games. So at this point, I'm like X2, haven't won a game. This is not looking good. Like I'm not going to even be able to win a game this entire time. So I go to round 3, I sit down, just waiting. Okay, I'm like, okay, my opponent hadn't showed up, but that's okay. The first round opponent was a little bit late, so he'll probably get there. The rules in a tournament are 3 minutes late, you get a game loss. 10 minutes late, you're actually eliminated from the match. So guy doesn't show up for 3 minutes. So there's a guy next to me and he's like, Judge, please give him the game loss. So I was like, okay, this guy's, he's very eager for the game loss. So I was like, whenever they call him over, I guess I'll grab him too. So I grabbed him, I got the game loss. I'm like, okay, well, if he shows up, I'll be 1 game ahead. That's great. And he never showed up, so I got a game win. I won a match. It was pretty insane. That's because he was not there. So I go to 1-2. This means that I'm still going. At X3, you're pretty much officially out. So I was like, all right, round 4, this is our round. We're going to be 2-2. We're going to win this one. It's going to be epic. I show up to round 4. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good. We're going to win this one. I haven't won a game yet, technically, but I did win a match due to him not showing up. So I'm sitting there. Guy doesn't show up for the first few minutes. So another guy was next to me, didn't show up. 8 minutes in, guy shows up. 8 minutes. 2 minutes away from getting another match lost for my opponent. I was about to go 2 in a row without them showing up. I was actually kind of shocked. I look at my phone. I was like, oh, he's here. Apparently, he hadn't been able to find the table. So I was like, okay, well, let's get into it. Let's start dueling. He had one game lost. All I had to do was win 1 out of 2 games. I got this. I stuck with my guns. I decided to go second. I'm a going second deck. I can handle this. Guy sets up his board. He plays like Hal, Baron, Herald of the Arclight. And if you don't know what that card does, it banishes all cards sent to the graveyard. Dinos need a lot of cards to hit the graveyard. Baby Sarasaurus says when it's destroyed and goes to the graveyard. Miscellaneousaurus says when it's sent to the graveyard. Those cards and effects could not be activated. He just has that card out there. I literally cannot do anything. I have a fantastic hand because if I just summon Oviraptor, I can't get into the combo because I can't send the Misk to the grave. I can't like pop anything. It just doesn't work. So my plan was I'll summon Oviraptor. I'll attack over the Arclight because it's very small. It's like 1,000 defense. I can handle that. Summon it. Attack. He activates Snow from graveyard. Snow comes back, flips down Oviraptor, my only card on board. So basically, I just lose the game. So I was like, okay, this isn't good. This is going to be a problem. I side in a ton of cards for the side deck. I was like, I still have to go second because my deck just doesn't work going first. Honestly, I probably should have gone first with that Herald of the Arclight. I let him go first. He goes through the whole combo again because I drew no hand traps. He puts out Arclight again. Another loss, 1-3. But I decided, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to play another round. I'm not done yet because the guy I was playing with, he was like 2-2 at the time, so he wanted to keep playing. So I was like, all right, I'll play another round. Let's see what happens. I go up against this guy, and he was playing the deck of destiny. He had a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. And if you guys remember from my last tournament, I only won 1 match, and it was against Blue Eyes White Dragon. I let him go first in the first match. I have an amazing hand, best hand I've had the entire tournament. I'm summoning stuff. I'm special summoning my entire board. I draw the Fusion Destiny. By the way, the worst decision ever to have those 2 Fusion Destinies and the 2 bricks in my deck, because I literally only summoned it once and it was against this Blue Eyes player. I summoned DPE. I completely clear his board. I basically win the game super easily in first game 1. Second game though, he gets to go first, and he had some spice in his deck. He had Invoked. He sets up Mechaba and literally shuts me down with my own deck. And of course, in my side deck, I didn't have any hand traps. I literally did not draw hand traps like every single game. It was insane. So I lost game 2 because he just set up and like negated my stuff, and I never got to actually do anything, and he just destroyed me with his Blue Eyes White Dragons. So in game 3, I actually went first and set up like Logia and like a D barrier or something. I called Fusion so that he couldn't use the Alistair stuff, and then I had like a couple of negates to like negate all his Blue Eyes setup. I was actually able to do that, use UTC, knock out all his stuff, and I ended up winning the match in 3 games, which was pretty awesome. So I got my first official win. I technically got one before that, to win 2 matches in the tournament. So I was 2-3. So after the win, I was like, I got to play one more. Okay, 2-3. Maybe I'll get somebody that's not that, great or whatever. I sit down. Guy doesn't show up again. I'm sitting around and, okay, it's like, we're like 5 minutes in, but there was nobody near me this time, like calling the judge, eagerly trying to get the win. So I was like, whatever. He just won't show up. He showed up like 6 minutes late, and I hadn't gotten him a game loss. So I was just like, whatever. We'll just play it out. Who cares? We're 2-3 anyway. And he's playing Tri-Brigade, Punk, I think, or something like that. Absolutely cleans my clock. It wasn't even close. I go 2-4, and I was like, all right, I think it's time to drop, guys. While I did have a great time, my rounds were pretty rough because of just dumb decisions I made before the tournament to make that weird deck and try and actually use it. It was a great time. I had an awesome time meeting you guys. Like, a lot of people came up, claimed those ghosts from the past packs. I signed some stuff, met a ton of fans, played some GOAT format and Edison format with some fans. It was pretty awesome. So hope you guys enjoyed the event, and if you guys didn't get to go to that event, I hope to see you guys in future events.